I'm absolutely, excited to be here tonight. Well, because I want to explain to you, how difficult it is to communicate. First impressions are formed in the first 7 seconds. And in the first 7 seconds that I gave you this gobbledygook, you probably thought, well, you're doubting the value of my talk. My gift to you tonight is to help you unleash the power of your voice to make a difference in the world. Because the way you communicate reflects your intelligence, your education, your charisma, your personality, and your good intentions. Filler words and other poor language choices eat away at your credibility. They're almost like locust, like a swarm of locusts just eating away at the value of what you had to say. And filler words are everywhere. They're everywhere. You turn on cable news and you'll hear them. You listen to a podcast and you'll hear them. Eavesdrop on teenage girls and you'll definitely hear them. Now, this is not a talk about filler words. This is a talk about making meaningful connections and actually collaborating, bringing people together for a common cause, making the world a little bit better with the power of your voice. That's why I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to slay the dragons of bad communication. Slaying dragons is figurative. It simply means helping you express who you really are. Because you might say, I can talk. We talk every day. But talking is very different from communicating effectively. It's much deeper, much more thoughtful, and much more conscious. You see, I believe that everyone has the potential to be a great communicator. That every single one of you has that potential if you just slay a few dragons. Now, dragons are one thing, but glut of information is something we deal with every day. Because clear, concise, compelling communication is at a premium. We are deluged, we're drowning in information and data, but we're hungry for understanding and for meaning. It's no wonder that this kind of communication, clear, concise, compelling, is very, very much in demand today in corporate America. A recent study of some 7,000 job descriptions for C-suite executives, that's the very highest level, shows that communicating clearly, being able to engender trust, and bringing people, rallying them together for a common purpose is the most desirable skill. Because what are the consequences of bad communication? Well, we know bad communication really erodes teamwork. It ruins reputations. It ruins careers. People are affected directly by bad communication within organizations and within our families as well. It fractures families, neighbors, and friends. And we're dealing with something else. The people-to-people communication that is so natural, that is so basically ancient since the dawn of time, is being compromised and eroded by technology. It's being hijacked. ChatGPT, for example, with artificial intelligence, now we are being replicated, our images, our voices, our sentences are being finished. And so we are losing that natural ability to communicate person to person. And the next generation, Generation Z, they're born with a smartphone in their hands. And they're not able to really talk face to face. They prefer to text and to TikTok. So are we forgetting how to communicate, or have we never really learned? I believe that communication is the currency of life, and it is an essential skill. I've studied more than 50 books on public speaking, and I have a deep respect for the English language. because there was a time when I couldn't speak. I couldn't speak English, and I couldn't speak at all. When I came to this country at age 7, I was put in a boarding school, and I didn't speak a word of English. The trauma and the cultural shock put me in a situation where I was unable to speak. I went silent. And when I was able to speak, it was with a crippling stutter. And it was so much so that it took me years to get over this. Now, I wasn't alone, because there is this wonderful orator that inspires us all to overcome these challenges. Demosthenes was a great Greek statesman, and he really wanted to be respected as an orator, but he had a crippling stutter. What he did was he built himself an underground bunker, and he said, I'm going to stay in there until I can speak fluently, using things like putting pebbles in his mouth. Well, he succeeded in doing that. But at the same time, he was joining with me in a 3 million or more people who stutter today, who are self-declared stutterers. Like Demosthenes, what I ended up doing was locking myself up in my room and watching television and mimicking the way that people spoke on television. I practiced to be a newscaster, and I was able to slowly overcome the stutter. Now, I ask you, what is your stutter? What is the dragon? What keeps you from really trusting your voice and expressing who you really are? Is it that you fear that people aren't going to listen? Do you think that you have nothing important to say? Do you think that you simply don't matter? Well, maybe your dragon is that you have a fear of public speaking. You're not alone. 70% of people on the planet report that they have a deep fear of public speaking, so much so that they prefer death over speaking in public. Another fear could be that you are an introvert, and you think that extroverts are better communicators. Well, that's not true. Great communicators are not born, they are made. And introverts have this wonderful superpower. They can sort of be more introspective, more thoughtful, more analytical. Case in point, Barack Obama is an introvert. Oprah Winfrey is an introvert. And if we look back historically, Churchill and Lincoln were introverts too. Poor language choices, sort of sloppy speaking, right? Including filler words. Well, we sometimes don't even bother to learn new words, to challenge ourselves to expand our vocabulary. You know, there's 170,000 words in current use in the English language, but we only use about 20,000, and we often use them poorly. Listening. Your dragon could be listening, because listening is equally important to speaking, and we fail to listen to one another. So much so that when you're speaking, you're often wondering if the person is really listening because their minds are someplace else. And our attention spans are shrinking. Where we can only really pay attention in snippets of 8 seconds. And one more thing, do you like the sound of your voice? Not many people do. When you hear yourself in a recording, you say, that's not me, because it doesn't sound the way it sounds in your head. So listening is very important. Body language. You know that your body communicates more than your words? Our gestures, our posture, our facial expressions, all of this combined with the tone, pitch, and volume of your voice communicates more than words do. So there's a lot that you can do with all these wonderful things that are not necessarily in the realm of the dragon, but they're within your control. And one more thing I want to bring about in terms of the body language, which is eye gaze and smiling. I almost forgot to mention this because this is critical. Eye contact, eyeball to eyeball. And that combined with a smile, these are absolutely powerful, dynamic forces. The smile is such an important thing. It's a universal language. It cuts across cultures. Everyone knows what a smile is. Now, there's many different kinds of smiles. There's the authentic smile, called the Duchenne smile, which is the one that engages your eyes. It makes them really wrinkly. It engages your upper lip. You can show your teeth. And it engages your zygomatic muscles, which is basically everything that's up here. And it brings about feelings of happiness. Now, I want you to do this with me because this is a happiness hack. And it's also a way to really test whether you can do a real smile, an authentic smile. You ready? There's a pen in your packets, if you kindly follow me. And this is really a scientific hack. You put it between your teeth like this. Hold, hold. Are your neurons of happiness tingling? Do you feel just a little happier? This is a way you can actually stimulate your attention, your alertness. Now that I have your attention, I'm going to reveal the secret weapon to slay the dragons of bad communication. It is so powerful that it is sharper than a dagger. Okay? Once you understand this remarkable secret weapon, you'll never fear the dragons again, because it's called bliss. Bliss, just the way it sounds. It's an acronym for 5 actions that are so powerful, that are already within you, that it will slay the biggest dragon. First one is breathe. Breathe. In breath is inspiration. Out breath is expression. We can all breathe. We sometimes forget to breathe. We don't breathe properly. Stand tall, shoulders back, take an expansive breath, and let the introvert in you speak out. L is for love. Love. Because if we don't love ourselves, how can we expect others to love us? We have to love our topic. We have to believe in what we're saying. And we have to respect our audience. And that love is returned. The next one is imagination. Imagine yourself receiving applause, acing that talk and presentation, receiving this wonderful feedback that you did well, that you were able to impact someone's thinking, that you left a mark. Visualize that success, hold on to it, and it is more powerful than you would imagine. The first S is service. You serve your audience. You give them something that they didn't have before. You're giving them a gift. How are you making them smarter? How are you making their lives better? Think about them. It's not about you, it's about them. Think about service when you communicate. And the last one is, of course, my favorite, smile. And to smile with everything, with your body, with a high five, with a thumbs up. Thich Nhat Hanh, the great poet and teacher, said, a smile can be a beautiful sound. It speaks volumes. Now, let's find our bliss. Let's find our bliss. Bliss is not imaginary. Dragons are imaginary. Bliss is real. And bliss is contagious. People will say, I'll have what she's having. I don't mean to make it sound easy. It's hard to make a presentation, to give a speech, to pitch investors, to rally employees, to defend a dissertation, to speak to your parents, to your children, and to neighbors who don't share your beliefs. That's why it's important to believe in yourself. Think about the love. Think about the service. Think about the smile that is the universal language. So I challenge you to stand in your bliss, slay the dragons of bad communication, and change the world with the power of your voice. Thank you.